What is going on, guys? HG Gundam here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the high-grade Forever Gundam from Gunpla Builder's Beginning G. Customized by Boris Shower for long-range focused combat, this is the Gunpla that symbolizes the eternal life of the hobby. As this kit is based on the high-grade G30 Gundam, you get all 4 runners of the kit, along with 5 new ones, a tiny sticker sheet, and a metal chain. Structurally, it's a mix of modern and old engineering, as it does use the universal standard connections while retaining the old structural conventions. Some parts do feel dated, I admit, but it's undoubtedly a fun kit to build compared to most modern kits that share a very similar structure. While there aren't too many issues in the build process, seam lines are to be expected, and caution needs to be exercised on all but the white parts. Besides that, it is a decently simple yet fun build. Straight assembly complete, and the high-grade Forever Gundam has a decent aesthetic to it, except for maybe the upstretched head when it comes to the proportions. Color separation is great too, with stickers only used in the eyes, head sensors, neck, and the white strip on the top of the chest armor. Everything else on the kit is color separated, even the red and the white vents on the Forever Gundam's armor, and that is impressive on Bandai's part. And speaking of the armor, it's the main selling point of this kit, and it sold me on it too. However, they do cover up the vast surface detail that the G30 Gundam bears, with not enough to compensate on the armor. As a result, the parts from the original G30 Gundam would look over-detailed compared to the Forever armor. Nevertheless, the main reason I like the Forever Gundam is because it feels like an alternate universe precursor to the H1 Full Glanza, outfitting an old machine with armor and new tech, while enriching the color scheme with the blue and the red parts. Aside from practicing seam line removal on this 13.2cm kit, you should also fill in all the recessed areas on the armor with black paint. Even then, it's still good for display as it is. For articulation, the head has a surprisingly flexible roll considering that it's wearing a choker, but there are still limitations involving the lower ball joint. The arms can swing out, roll, and rotate in their sockets. The shoulder panel can move out of the way for the near perpendicular arm raise. There's a bicep swivel, single jointed elbows, and ball jointed wrists. There isn't much in terms of ab crunches, but the waist can rotate all the way. Front and side skirts can move, the legs can swivel laterally, pull off great front kicks, and decent sidewards kicks. There's a thigh swivel, single jointed knees, hinged and ball jointed ankles unhindered by the extra armor, and a moving ankle flap. Finally, the funnels on the backpack are mounted on a multitude of swivels and rotating joints, but some of them are a bit tight, so do be careful while moving them. Altogether, the Forever Gundam's articulation is average, not the best, but not too limiting either. However, those wrist polycaps are absolutely terrible at their job even right out of the box, so do thicken up the wrist joints to save yourself some pain. In terms of accessories, you get a pair of fists and a right side only holding and trigger finger hands, which is a decision I don't understand the reason behind. As for weapons, the beam sabers are relocated onto the arms and are stored with unreliable friction. But not only is there only one holding hand, but there are also no included beams. All you get is the toothpick that is carried over from the G30 Gundam. On the bright side, it's not like the old C kits where there is a hand molded onto them, so it can be easily touched up. However, if you have a sizable collection, the SB13 beams will work just fine. I especially like using the beam sabers straight from storage. However, if beam melee isn't what you seek, there is an included Gundam hammer held together with a metal chain, which is a rarity in modern kits, but probably for good reason. The hammer is weighed down by gravity, so it is tough to get any sorts of poses out of it, though it is useful to know that the chain is actually magnetic, so you can probably get something set up with that in mind. There is also nowhere to store the hammer, but I guess you can improvise one by coiling up the chain onto the bazooka's storage clip. Next is the beam rifle with a very thick foregrip. No stickers are used for its construction at all, and the scope and foregrip can adjust for various displays. The kit can hold it up fairly well in the trigger finger hand, but the loose manipulators make it a bit of a challenge. An alternate ranged option is the Hyper Bazooka, which comes in a solid grey block with no moving parts. Although the Forever can hold it up with no weight issues, the lack of a movable grip makes posing a little tough, not to mention that the stock can easily clash with the funnels on the back. For storage, a rear panel can be replaced with the aforementioned clip for the bazookas to be stored on by friction. The traditional Gundam shield is also included for its defense, but apart from the surface detail and full color separation, there is not much else to note. You can plug it onto the arm for use, which is about all that you can do with it, as the flip-out peg is useless since the hardpoint on the backpack is used by the funnels, though it will collide into absolutely everything, and the connection on the arm armor is not that solid to begin with. Speaking of which, the funnels can be flipped forward for use as mounted cannons. They can also be dismounted and fly around as their name would suggest, and feature an extendable barrel for extra flare while used. However, you'd need to improvise means of displaying them separately as they are just hollow inside. What's left behind is a small beam cannon that can function as extra firepower alongside the funnels. The question that I had going into this is whether the Forever parts could work on the high-grade Universal Century Gundam Revive to make one with updated articulation, and the results are, it works. Kinda. The chest, backpack, shoulders, and waist work without a hitch, so that's great, but the forearm and shin armor would require extensive modification, while the feet would require swapping of polycaps. But if you do want to put the effort into it, you can totally make the Forever armor fit onto the high-grade Universal Century Gundam Revive to make a Forever Gundam with updated proportions and articulation. Unfortunately, this is where I bear bad news. Yes, the Forever Gundam comes with everything you need to revert it back to the high-grade G30 Gundam, which is good and all. However, it has been permanently discontinued ever since the mid-2010s, so it will be safe to assume that the Forever Gundam would never be reissued. There's also an extra backpack frame piece should you need a replacement. At the end of the day, I will recommend the high-grade Forever Gundam, but the only catch is, watch out for the prices. But, I mean, yeah, granted, it's an old kit based on an even older one, so of course there are going to be limitations, but the poor hand sockets and limited hand options are jarring downsides. But that aside, the Forever Gundam has the part separation to produce a good-looking straight build product, and the vast weapon loadout to keep you entertained with little drawbacks. And if you have been contemplating on getting the standard Gundam, yet feel like it's just a bit too bare bones, this kit is the one for you. Just don't go into it expecting a modern build experience, but I feel like the older build experience is part of its charm. Unfortunately, good things don't last forever, and the Forever Gundam is the very definition of it. And that's all for me. Thank you for watching, drop a like and comment if you did enjoy the video, subscribe for more content like this, and feel free to follow me on social media with the links down below. That said, take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.